Hello, everyone. It's Norman Kochnick here with an increasingly long beard and moustache. Moustache is looking quite regal, very regal looking moustache, actually. It's delayed by about 10 minutes, I'm sorry, but things aren't always perfect. I tried to get Chris Vernon on the show. He's not coming at this stage. He's had something, a little bit of drama coming up. Did you all see the video that I put out regarding training? That obviously England training has taken place. We've got express access to that, which is great. Unfortunately, we don't seem to get the same with the Indian media. They tend to do it on their own first. Rick Tech, first to comment. Okay, beautiful drawings. Welcome. Hello, sir. How are we all? Aparna Sain is joining shortly. Richard might join, I'm not sure. Some of Siddharth and like will probably join as well. What are you eating? I'm eating some nice pasta. Hello, Stunner. All right, guys. We're here today. I'm meant to have an Aussie and a POM talk all things Indian cricket or cricket. Obviously with an eye on the Headingley Leeds test. And clearly, oh, by the way, have you seen my mask? There we are. See the logo in there? I'll keep it on. Not that I need to. Australia's going through some pretty severe times at the moment. Our vaccinations have started, not good. Do I cook myself? Yes, I do. I had some nice pasta. Very buttery pasta. Some tortellini, I think it was. Nice shell. Well, although I do like spicy cooking, I haven't got it spicy today, but certainly that's my next thought. So Mark Wood is definitely out. I think I mentioned it on several occasions before that he would be out. He didn't look good at all during that match, and it'd be hard pressed to recover. A lot of discussion about Mark Wood's inclusion. Obviously, Sakib Mahmood would have to be considered now very strongly. Now that England have lost Broad, Wood, Anderson, well, he's not in doubt, but he can't do it all on his own. He may be stressed to do 3 tests in a row. That could be a bit of an ask for him. And may have to do more tests in a row because of the injuries that are there. So interesting to see what happens there. Of course, Shreyas Iyer and Rishabh Pant are in their press quite a bit at the moment about who will actually captain the Delhi Capitals. Still call them Delhi Daredevils, but Delhi Capitals, and that will be interesting. I can't imagine them suddenly just changing from Punt. Why would you do that? When he was going quite well to start with. So yeah, I've put videos about players to watch out for. There's been selection of the Australian squad. Happy Raksha Bandhan for yesterday. Second test debrief has gone out. This is an Aussie and a POM to all things cricket, which has kind of been usurped by just me talking at the moment. But half the food is stuck on your moustache, is it? Where? No, not anymore. Because I'm eating, that's why. For Satnarayana, he's supposed to be here. So he is meant to be coming, but he may have had some training issues. So he may be unable to do that. So yeah, well, he'll certainly come back at a later stage. Yeah. As far as the game is concerned today, well, in fact, on Wednesday, today is Monday. So effectively in England, it's currently something like, it's now about 1:45 p.m. on Monday. So there's 2 more days before, so less than 2 days now before the game actually starts. And very hard to hear at the moment because I've got a certain distraction going in the background. Yeah. All right. Yeah, if there's some there, we'll get in a Barham. We'll see whether Barham is Barham there. He was there earlier. But Parner's going to be joining us as well. I've invited a few other people. Hang on. Hang on a second, guys. All right. Sorry, guys. I had to deal with them out of there. So, the makeup of the Indian side, as we've said all along, shouldn't be any different. There's been no evidence of any changes. The likes of the bowling contingent, it's going to be a matter of who's the fittest. If there's anyone who's not fit, technical adjustments, correct. Technical adjustments, correct. The reality is that India are least likely to change. Maybe Shardul Thakur may come in for one of the bowlers. It could be Ishant Sharma, perhaps, or maybe even Bumrah may get rested, or even Sharma. Wait and see whether any of those bowlers will be rested as such. But the Indian batting lineup, from Rahul right down to Punt, will not change. Jadeja's staying. Ashwin's not coming in this test. Very unlikely. He's more likely to come in the fourth test, and that would be it. So, as Sutton Narayan says, I feel with no Borden Archer that spice is not there as we would have wanted. Plus, no Wood is again worrying if Root is out, thinking it might be fold faster. Yeah, if Root falls, it'll be a lot. Dawood Malan will put in some sort of effort there. I think he could be the person to help the batting lineup. He's a lot better than you think, guys. I think he maybe not yet proven himself as to how good he is. Shardul should come in for Ishant. I think there may be a rotation between Ishant, Bumrah, Shami. Certainly would have to be considered in a rotation. Siraj is, I think, fit enough and will stay in, but whether or not we will see any other changes will depend on a lot of Garrett Banker. Chris is meant to be joining us. He's unfortunately had an issue which he can't turn up on time. He's out coaching and there's been an issue. But a partner will join us shortly. Everyone's asking where Chris is. Now, Chris is, this is his show. He should be here, and I'm a little bit disappointed with him. But yeah, it's one of those situations you can't always have people come on the show if they're not available. So, in the absence of Chris Fern, I'm going to try and get on someone else to join us. But we'll leave it with that, guys. Just continue with the show and ask questions about the show. We'll be fine. All right. So there was a video there on the England training, which looked like the batters, like Rory Burns. I'm sure Rory Burns will open with Hamid, and Dawood Malan will come in at first drop, which will then be followed by Root and Bairstow. Pope, I don't think so. And then you'll have Butler, Moeen Ali, and then the four bowlers. And the bowlers will probably be Sakib Mahmood. Sakib Mahmood probably without a doubt now that Wood is out. Anderson looks like he has to back up for a third test, which I don't know whether he really wanted to do, but he is. Ollie Robinson will certainly be there as well. And the fourth bowler, well, that could well be an interesting one. We'll see about that, whether there's any changes further. What's the travel plan for Aussie players for the IPL? Well, they're going in, they're not all going together as a group. They're going separately. Some are going earlier, some are going later. Throughout the month of September, they'll be there. Well, obviously, the start is September 19th, which is only, 26 days away. So less than 4 weeks, three and a bit weeks away. I think the players are staggered in the way they're going. We've got quite a few there that I'm pretty sure that Smith, Warner, Stoinis, Maxwell, I think Andrew Tye, Hazel, I'm not sure about, but Mitchell Stark may well be there as well. Well, he wasn't there in the first bit, was he? We'll see. I'm not sure about Mitchell Stark, actually. Well, Indian batsmen, especially Pajara Kohli, they score some big runs and step up. Well, Pujara and Cole and Rahane did step up the performance. Kohli probably needs the good innings. And you should be aware of the ghost of 2 and 4. Yeah, they need to be very careful. Will I cover the IPL? I certainly. I covered the first 29 matches. A lot of those were on the Extra Time channel, actually. There's a lot of discussions there with Indian media there on Extra Time. And then I did my show to follow up. In fact, I did quite a few shows. But I'll be more exclusively on my channel for the IPL. Yes, the last 31 matches, including the final, of course. England players might pull out of quarantine, restricting players, face more hardships. Are you talking about what's happening currently in the series, or are you talking about what's happening in the Ashes? Because there is some doubt about the Ashes. Naresh is here. How are you, Naresh?
Good evening, Norman. Good. How are you, Norman?
I'm very well. My beard's growing nice. I got my new masks there.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I've been following the news. What's happening in Australia and New Zealand, the lockdown. There is resistance, shortage of vaccines. So yeah.
Well, this is what annoys me, that this whole concept of a shortage of vaccines, when you consider that we could have got them a lot earlier, is hardly a reason for them not to be issued. Australia should have got there. Let me just, while I've got you there, I'm going to make a very clear statement about what's happened in Australia. We had 0 cases from, most of this year. 0 daily cases. 0. Yeah. Incredible. 0 cases, 0 new, 0 old, 0 altogether. Completely clean. We had no need for masks, no need for social distancing, nothing. Then one driver came in, had come across an international traveller, and that one driver then went into the community, and from that one driver, we now have up to 800 cases a day. Quite incredible.
Yeah. The new variant, the Delta variant, as they call it,
Yeah, exactly. So that variant, the Delta variant, as they call it, coming. So we have 800 cases a day. We have 350 odd people in hospital. Maybe more, maybe like 500 now. We've got quite a few that are on ICU and quite a few on ventilators. So it's become from 0 to a lot. And they're saying we've got about 91% capacity of Sydney hospitals are now full, which is quite high. Concerning.
Yeah.
But that's not the problem. That's not where the problem is. It's around the vaccines, the vaccinations. We were running at single-digit percentages. And only the last few days we're talking about getting 1 out of every 2 people vaccinated for the first dose, which is disgusting. We're still trying to throw AstraZeneca down people's throats when they don't want it. So ultimately, that comes back to one person, it's the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison. Scott Morrison has dropped the ball here and has created a severe situation which shouldn't have happened. We should not be in quarantine, and we should have been able to be fully vaccinated, or at least 80% vaccinated, whatever and then we would have been in a situation where people could have acted normally. And we're not. And we've gotten so bad that the local government areas, you're only allowed to be in certain government areas now, which is even smaller control. And New Zealand has started to blow out as well, albeit small. So look, but the thing is, Naresh, whatever's happening around the world was inevitably going to happen in Australia. It's not like it was not going to happen. We could never say it was never going to happen. It's our winter time. It's the classic time. So that's the problem. Winter is the notorious time for this to get out of hand, and it did. And we should have said, well, what about if it does? Not saying, it's not going to happen here, where everything's going fine. Well, what about if it does happen? And we didn't prepare. And if we don't have enough vaccines, it's based on stupidity. I had my second dose of Pfizer on Friday, and I'm okay. So, Gopal Vaidya, I've not mentioned before. Thank you for saying you love the show. Please subscribe. That's the most important thing about this is to subscribe. And we've got lovely Naresh Manaskani on, who hasn't got his. You got your name. You got your name on the bottom of the screen. You have. Good. How's your program going?
Going well, Norman. Yeah, just few episodes old. As I said, we focus more on the Hindi language of the previews and the reviews of the games and what's happening around the world on cricket. I didn't cover hundreds because honestly, I did not follow it at all. But maybe in the future cover. CPL is coming up, so I'll cover that. CPL is there. A lot of cricket. I think the Indian tour, the women tour to Australia. I don't know whether that's going to happen now. Going ahead, it's starting on the day when IPL starts in Dubai. So, from the time zone perspective, I don't think it's just that we have to follow what the protocols are, as a team. So I don't see that as an issue. Uh, but yeah, there is a good women tour happening. One test, three ODIs, three T20s, and during the IPL time. So from the time zone during the day, we will watch what's happening in Australia, and evening we will watch the IPL in UAE. So there's a lot of cricket coming up.
Well, this comment here about the women go to New South Wales for the first game because the next 5 games are Melbourne and Wacker. You'd have to argue that the game in Sydney will not take place. That'll be moved.
Yeah.
So this is cheating when watching Chris cry. Here, watch Chris cry. Okay, well, Chris should be here. He had a training mishap and some training things that happened at the very last minute, and he apologised. But he'll try and make up for it. It happens, guys. Where's the CPL will stream? The Caribbean Premier League. Well, that's in Australia. It's on. I think it's on Sports, Sky Sports, not Sky Sports, on Foxtel. Well, I don't know what it is in India.
Yeah, in India, whatever is happening in West Indies is getting covered on Fan Code. It's getting streamed on Fan Code app. You have to take a subscription and watch, because that's where I watched the South Africa West Indies, Australia West Indies. So I think Caribbean Premier League would be there, or maybe some channel may pick it up. We are not yet aware if there is going to be streaming on television or a live telecast on television. Last year there was, so maybe.
When is it going to be?
I think it's starting on 26th, just few days. As soon as the test match ends. No, it's in the between of the test match, India, England. And there is a test match going on, Pakistan, West Indies. Yeah, so around that time only they're going to start. Yeah.
On Fan Code app.
Fan Code, yeah. So they have to shorten it. They shortened it. They have to finish it off in about 18 days, I think. 17 or 18 days they finish. And because the players have to head to UAE for the IPL and then the World Cup. So.
And of course, a number of the international players won't come because they'll be caught up with other series.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think this is the only league now. Pakistan West Indies Test series. After that, I don't think there's any other international series happening. Most of them have made themselves available for the IPL.
Yeah, but it's what I'm saying. Well, they're not going to be playing the CPL, though, are they?
I think the Pakistan will have some players play. They play normally. Pakistan players play. I'm not sure about Australian players. Sri Lankan players would be there, few of them. But then some few Sri Lankans are getting picked up for IPL also. Even that is to be confirmed, because yesterday RCB did announce picking up a couple of Sri Lankan players.
They did, which is unusual because so far there's been no Sri Lankans in the first 29 matches. None, except for a couple of coaches.
Yeah, they had a replacement window, so I think there are lots who are not playing also. Plus, yeah, there are some changes happening. I think Butler has, kind of withdrawn.
Well,
there are quite a few.
Yeah.
No, even Ashes, I think he may not play. Yeah.
Butler's because of his wife, of course. Falling pregnant, giving birth. Look, it's such a logjam. I don't know how they. I think it was a bit stupid for the CPL to have the tournament the way they. I'm sorry, it's too. Yeah. They should have perhaps left it somewhere else, but that's my thoughts. I think they made a mistake because I'm not even recognising the CPL's on because I haven't got time. We're talking about Test matches and World Cups and.
But Norman, to be fair, all this happened because of IPL not getting completed. If the IPL second phase, if it wasn't there, then it would have looked as if everything is fine. But the entire calendar got messed up because of the IPL had to be stopped in between. So, and then looking for a new window for IPL. So all this has happened, and it looks a very cramped calendar. But one thing good, it's all about T20 because that's a good way to go into the World Cup.
That's true. The IPL. I look at Punjab Kings, and they've got so many changes made to their team. They got rid of, they're saying Riley, Meredith and Richardson were not coming, but I think they were more dumped than let go. I don't think they were, but they picked up Nathan Ellis, so a bit desperate the way they've approached that, I would argue.
Even Rajasthan, Rajasthan was already depleted with no Stokes and Archer further, but now Butler is not there. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. I think what we last spoke about IPL, the top 4, I think it will continue that way. I don't see much changes
happening. There's no doubt. I mean, you and I have spoken before about Mumbai Indians, CSKs, and Chennai Super Kings, obviously Delhi Capitals,
Delhi and
and of course
RCB. Yeah.
RCB. Yeah, they're the four that should stand out. I'm pretty sure Maxwell will be there. I'm pretty sure Warner and Smith
Yeah.
will be there because of the financials.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that 100 numbers, they put out some 100 numbers, which I posted, which were pretty damn good. They had quite a strong viewership there. Yeah, so that was pretty good. Hello, Banshu Chowdhury. How are you? Dr. Fishal said, England media already complaining about missing key players just after one loss. It's very surprising they are playing at home. Shouldn't there be more bravado, at least in the media, instead of complaining? Yeah, that's when the media complains about their team and not complains about the team, but complains about the lack of players. That's a desperation sign.
Yeah. That's not a good sign, because the way the two tests have gone, and it's looking as if the entire batting lineup is dependent on Joe Root, and on the other hand, we watch hundreds or any other white ball cricket where most of the English batsmen are doing so well. So it's not kind of giving a good balance of what's happening, with the white and red ball in England, But they need to sort this quickly, because from the test perspective, it's all about Ashes at this point of time. They're not looking beyond it. But it shouldn't backfire that you don't have most of the players even available. Like as you said, even Butler is now going to opt out of Ashes. So
I think, especially the England's squad will be very depleted, even when it comes to the Ashes. They've lost Stokes, Archer. I reckon Broad's not going to be there either. He may just, but it'll be struggling.
Yeah.
And Wood now has got this injury. So, yeah, that's four main players, all bowlers.
Yeah, Wood is injury, and Anderson may be overworked. That may be a risk also, because with Broad and Wood not available, England cannot afford not to play Anderson or even think of resting him. So he's having additional burden being one test down against India. So that has to have an impact going ahead for the Ashes. So it's a bit of a concern for them.
Absolutely. It's a real concern because I think that the England batting is not sound as well. But look, that's one thing. England's not in a good position, but Australia can't exactly brag about their preparation because they haven't played a test match since January. In fact, the Gabba was the last test match. They're playing against Afghanistan. They're going straight into a test series. They're not going to have a lot of practice either. So, George Garton, who I know very little about from the Southern Brave, is signed by RCB. But I'm sure Dan Christian's still going. I'm sure that Maxwell's still going. I don't think those guys will miss out from the IPL, that is. Do you?
I think they're going. Yeah, I think they all are going, especially those who are named in the Australian squad for the World Cup. Most of them would go because I think that's a good way to prepare. It's the same venue, so I think they will go. But yeah, it's good to
also,
see these
replacements. They're going to have to go through quarantine twice. They've got no quarantine to go through. They'll have to go through it early.
They're going in early. I think a couple of teams have already reached UAE. Mumbai Indians, Chennai Super Kings. I think they've already reached and started practicing there. So you will see all the teams. Yeah. All will have. I think most of the teams will assemble by end of the month itself. So they have 14, 15 days in hand because it's starting the same date as of last year, 19 September. So.
Yeah, that's not all that far away, is it? And considering India are playing 3 test matches between then and now, and some of those Indian players will be running off to the IPL as well, I'm going to guess that someone like Kohli won't be playing the first match or so. I don't think he'll probably not.
No, and you brought up a very important point, Norman. Actually, India got into the test mode on 2nd June when they left for England, and they had just ended the first half of IPL. From June till 14 September, if you go to see, they all are only going to think about the test series. And you can imagine within 5 days, you have Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul opening in T20 for their respective franchises who are definite in the World Cup squad. So it is very tough, on them also, for them to just switch within 5 days. Yeah, within 5 days, they're going to switch. We are talking so much about the way Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul are leaving the ball outside off stump, and then suddenly within 5 days, they have to keep hitting all those balls. So it's going to be a very tough one. Yeah.
It's interesting because out of the Indian batting lineup, they're top, let's say Pujara and Rahane out. I think they're not IPL major contenders, but you've got Sharma, Rahul, Kohli, and Punt, and Jadeja.
Yeah.
And then the
Surya
bowlers.
Kumar is there. Sumar Kumar has done very well in T20s. He's there in London. He may probably not get any game the way the current team is going now. They're picking up well. Surya Kumar may not get a game. Bumrah is there. Bumrah has to come back and bowl white ball. Okay, there you feel for the bowlers, maybe they bowl a similar kind of a length, but it's a very tough one, to just switch from the format within 5 days after a long series.
And the reality is that I can't imagine. And that Shreya Kumar Yadav may in fact leave early. If they can't see him being picked for the 4th or 5th test, so they make a decision going into the 4th, 5th test, he probably will head straight to UAE. I reckon he may not stay. Once the team is selected for certainly the 5th test, but even maybe the 4th test, they may send the rest home, as in home to not home but to UAE. That'll be
for
fair.
The UAE. Yeah.
Because actually, Sri Kumar Yadav, it must be wondering what the hell he's doing there. It's an honour to be picked. It's an honour to be picked, for sure. But I've got some. No, I'll talk later. So, the reality is that it's somewhat of a. Oh God. I'm just going to see. Hang on, I've got someone wanting to join us. I'll just wait and see.
They're probably asking you for the link. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see what's going to. Now I'm going to ask you: do you want Alan Mullally on?
He's fun. I don't have complaints. He's fun.
I mean, I may consider him because we haven't got Chris Vernon here, and we do need a POM on the show, don't we? And that's the idea of it. Let me have a look.
Okay.
I'm just getting. Aparna's been. I'm asking her to come on the show. What she's been doing, and she's producing. Thumbnails. I don't need thumbnails. Everybody wants to create thumbnails. This is hilarious. You need to control him. I will, Bram. Don't worry, Bram. I will control him.
Hi, Bram. Hello.
Unless you need to control him.
Oh, I need to control. Okay.
Let's see if he comes on. He may not come on. Well, that's all right. Okay. Bumrah will play Test 3, but not 4 and 5. That's interesting. If India win the 3rd test and go 2-0 up, right, they may rest some of their bowlers. I reckon there might be a chance.
Yeah, no. Interesting news today is that Shardul Thakur is fit again. Is India going to look back to the first test selection and probably look at Shardul Thakur now itself to rest someone, and then look at getting in Ashwin also for Jadeja? Then you're looking at getting another bowler who can bat a bit. So it's going to be interesting on Wednesday what the 11 India choose. But ideally, they would go in with the same 11 because of the, just getting the winning team to continue with one more game at least. But it's going to be very critical because if England level the series, then, those plans of resting replacements, that may get a little tough. And that's the same thing England would have, Anderson, the importance of Anderson now in the remaining part of the series.
The reality is, oh God, sorry,
No issue. Yeah, Bumrah, I think it's in India still is in a better position because Umesh Yadav is there. Couple of more guys are there who are fresh. They could get a game, but it all depends on the situation of the series,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, let's move away from the word resting.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word resting. It's not about resting. It's about whether the players are up to it. More than just people. Nobody's rested for the sake of being rested. I think they're going to be dealt with on the basis of how they're feeling. Now, James Anderson's coming in. If he plays this third test, which he probably will have to play, I think no matter
He'll
what.
have to play. Yeah.
Without Broad, Wood, Archer, Ollie Robinson certainly is there. Whether they bring in Overton or Sakib Mahmood is the question that we've got.
Yeah.
I would say Sakib Mahmood will come in. I think because the pitch will suit him up there, and is it his home ground or was it? I think it's his home ground. I'm not sure.
Is it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's at least David Malan's home ground. He will come in definitely in the batting order.
If that's there, David Malan's certainly coming in.
Yeah. Another thing is, even Chris Wokes is still not fit, because I don't think Sam Curran is giving them the results that they require with the ball, So they are lacking that fourth bowler at this point of time, though they have Sam Curran, but not as effective as what Siraj has been as fourth bowler for India.
Look at it. They've lost Stokes, Wokes, Archer, and Wood. 4 bowlers that would have been first picked.
And Broad, Stuart Broad, yeah.
I don't know. Okay, that's right. Yeah, Ben Stokes, Chris Wokes, Archer, Wood, and Broad. That's 5 frontline bowlers. The absolute front line of England's bowlers. Only James Anderson is one that's not who's front line still. Everyone else, Sakib Mahmood, Ollie Robinson, despite playing well, Overton, even Curran, they're not frontline bowlers. Very interesting. Very interesting. But India, I actually really hope India don't change their batting lineup for the entire 5 matches.
Batting lineup, I don't think until unless there's an injury or, what they feel could be, because they have to even look at the future on how they want to manage this batting lineup going ahead for long term. But I still feel there could be one change somewhere in 4th or 5th test. I don't see a batting lineup change in this upcoming test, but I think number 5, I still feel is open.
But batting's different to bowling, as we've already discussed. You don't just change batsmen because you want to give everybody a go. That's not what you do. You don't do that. Test batsmen are not removed because they give someone else a go. I doubt that. And Pujara Rahane, after fighting the last test match, will, unless they fail miserably in the 3rd and 4th, they may go on the 5th. They may, but that's the only hope.
Yeah, and also Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul, the way they have given the start, Mayank Agarwal, I think, would miss out. Unfortunately, it was his injury kept him out.
That's
but KL Rahul,
very sad for him. Very sad for him.
Yeah, but KL Rahul has done a world of good to himself. I don't think he is going to move out of this series to open unless there's an injury. Otherwise, he's playing all the 5 tests for sure.
I'm sure too. Rajasthan Royals has signed Glenn Phillips, who's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
That's a fair selection, but maybe not the top selection. Sakib Mahmood is actually from Lancashire. We're hearing from Shah Manju. Okay. And
so he'll play Old Trafford. He will play for sure.
I've asked Alan Early to come on. We'll wait and see if he comes on. Change the title, please. No one turn Aussie and India talk. Oh my God! All these people telling me what to do with my heading. Jesus! If we bring a POM on, bring a POM on. A POM will be Alan Malali. So just relax, Barami. Oh my God, Barami's he's becoming my producer, my director. What's going on here? Now, Pakistan, West Indies. I must admit, there was a lot of okay. We can now call it. Alan, your screen's dark.
Hello, Alan.
Okay, well, Alan's. I don't think Alan realizes he's on yet.
Hello.
Hello, Alan. Could you get some light behind you, please?
Pardon?
Some light. So there is a difference between pull shot and hook shot.
Yeah.
Rowan is a fantastic puller. He doesn't play the hook shot very well. He's got now 4 times playing the hook shot and the ball above his head. Well, yeah, that's a pretty hard call.
I completely agree on this. It's those few inches above the eye which he doesn't time it well, and he cannot control, and few inches in the level of the eye or below is where he looks very good. And I completely agree. That's been his downfall. It happened in Australia. It's happened here twice. So he needs to be little. But the thing is that he never ducks. Rohit Sharma, you hardly see him ducking a ball. He wants to play every ball. That's the difference.
But Rohit Sharma has scored the most test runs in this calendar year than any other Indian player. So if they're going to pick his game apart, they need to go and look at Rahane, Pujara, and Kohli first. Rohit Sharma needs to be left alone. He's batting very well indeed. Indeed, he is. So Thursday 09 says Malali is here. The rock concert begins. Let's not have a rock concert.
I'm going to be very polite.
You are going to stay very polite. You're going to stay very
really
polite.
annoying me, Norman.
Alan, can you move to your left a little bit? Not that far. Perfect. Okay, that's better.
What really annoyed me, Naresh, oh my Lord, my iPad, Norman, is on the way out. I'll tell you why, because 5 minutes ago, it was on 100%. Now, on charge.
Alan, you're not in the right position. I only see half your head. Now we see all of your head. Just move to your left. That's it. Left. That's too far. But,
Alan, you got a rock star picture behind you.
Yeah,
Bob Marley.
We can see.
Bob Marley.
Yes.
Yeah, Bob Marley.
Yes. Norman, quiet, please. Yes.
We're not talking about. We're not. This is not about. Oh, so Aparna wants me to send the link. I've sent it to her 95 times. I've sent the link to him 95 times.
I have been so very flipping cold here in Perth, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. But can you move around, or you have restrictions?
Oh no, here we can do what we want in Perth, unlike Sydney with Santa Claus. Look at Santa Claus. Yes, no, that's you.
Now the reality is that
I have been so cold today in Perth. We were 12 degrees. That's cold, not really cold.
But I mean, look.
And Norman, do me a favour.
Okay, Alan, sir, what are your thoughts on Mohammad Siraj?
Who?
Mohammad Siraj. Don't say who. You know who he is.
Mohammad Siraj is who?
Sorry?
The Indian bowler who got Anderson bowled the last wicket at Lord's of Anderson.
Okay, can you please educate me, because I've not been well versed. I don't watch cricket at the moment. I've been watching more about the politics.
Well, Mohammad Siraj took 5 wickets at the Gabba earlier this year when they won the Test match.
I've got to turn this around. Is that better?
That's it. That's better. Just stay still. Get your hand away from your mouth. We can't. Okay, good boy.
When I do this, I'm in great thought.
Well, you're not the thinker, for God. So that's a statue in Paris at the Rodin Museum. You're not the thinker.
No,
okay?
when I do this, I'm in great thought.
Okay, so we're going to get back to what we're talking about. This is an Aussie and a POM. You're the POM. We've got an Indian here, Naresh, and Aparna's coming on. I'm not sure what she is these days.
Can I say something?
Alan.
Can I correct you on one thing, Norman?
What?
I'm English. I'm not a POM.
You played for England, so you must be a POM. You can't.
English. I'm not a POM.
Oh, okay. Here we go. A POM is a pomegranate which turns red in the sun, or bleeds red. That's what you're talking about.
I've got some of those in the fridge, will I?
Okay. Well, all right.
Okay.
So anyway,
ask questions about cricket.
we're talking about this particular series about to start on Wednesday, the 3rd test, and we've got several England. Let me finish. We've got several England bowlers out. We've got Mark Wood is out with an injury. Stuart Broad's out with injury.
Again.
Chris Wokes is out with injury. Ben Stokes is with a mental issue, and Jofra Archer's out. So only leaves James Anderson.
Okay, Norman, let's get one thing straight. The first 3, they're injured, right? Physically. The mental injured, that chap. Please repeat that.
You know, okay. Archer, Broad, Wood, Wokes, and Ben Stokes. So 5 of the main bowlers of England are out. There's only one left, and that's
Who's
James
the young lad out with the mental injury?
Ben Stokes. Ben Stokes.
With the mental one?
Yeah, mentally. His father passed away.
Been there, done that, and that's not good.
No, it's not. All right, I'm going to take Ray PM. Hang on, Alan. I'm going to get Ray PM's question here.
Norman, can I please just say one thing? When my dad passed away, it nailed me. Okay? It really, really nailed me. For all those watching, I thought of suicide. I went through that mental illness. I just hope Ben Stokes comes out the other side. Because my dad was my best friend. And
it would be very, very hard. Condolences for you as well as Ben Stokes' situation. I lost my father when I was young as well, relatively young. I was in my 20s. I know how it feels. It's not much fun.
Boy, come on. He'll be all right.
All right, the question for Ray PMB is Kohli is moving a lot back and across trigger movement, ending up outside off stump, and is taking a huge front foot stride, which making play balls to leave. Yeah, I don't know whether that's a problem alone, right? I think he's doing it from his normal batting position as well as moving across. But yeah, he should be letting the ball go. But
he should be leaving the yeah.
Go ahead, Naresh.
Yeah, so you know, at the point of contact, if you see his leg stump is very visible, so he needs to look at that adjustment quickly, because if he's taking a leg stump guard, he should be actually leaving it, because this looks as if he's playing off the 6th or the 7th stump. So something for him to quickly, and I think he can quickly work on that, but he just needs to ensure he leaves those balls.
The ball that he got out to Sam Curran, that was so outside off stump, it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
No matter where his batting stance was, he followed that way too much. But look, I don't think
I would have loved to have bowled to Kohli. I'm not
you would have loved to bowl to Kohli.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
Well, Rick Tech, who's a member here, is saying Alan Mullally, my childhood tall fast bowler I had never ever known. There you go. I'm guessing he's complimenting you there.
4.5. Hey, Naresh, can I please quickly show you something?
Hang on, please. Sajay,
I won't do nothing crazy, Norman. Just
Sajay Ganguly is, what is your name? What is my name? Norman Kochnik. Eyes on cricket with Norman Kochnik. We've got Naresh Manaskani down my the other side. I think I'll put this. Oh, I'll keep my finger right. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm Naresh. Yeah.
No way. That's the and that's the rest of us going. We've got Alan Mullally, former England bowler, England front line left arm bowler. I belong to which country? I don't belong to any country. I live in Australia.
No, hang on, Norman. Let's rephrase things. You live in Sydney. I live in Perth. I live in the real part of Australia. You live in some other place.
Let me make this very clear, guys. Sydney is the epicenter of Australia and the epicenter of the world, as far as I'm concerned.
There's this place out there. It's called Perth.
Has Perth had a World Cup? No. Has Perth had an Olympics? No. Even Brisbane's getting it ahead of Perth.
No, we had this place called Perth. It's called We Are in Lockdown. Norman, Santa Claus, and the rest.
Anyway, let's get back to the situation.
Can I
We've had the 100. The 100 went really well. But hang on, Alan, please let's get back to the topic.
Yeah, okay, cricket mania. I'm there with you. I've got to get your hat, by the way, to put on my head. Is that right?
So the 100 was very successful.
Bear with me.
But I don't think it was necessarily a replacement for T20 competitions. I think it was just another form of the same thing.
Yeah, it won't be. Yeah, it won't be. Yeah. But there are a couple of good rules that can be taken into the T20 games, especially the one where you have exceeded the time limit. the over 8 and you get a fielder in. I think that's a wonderful rule to have. You're sorting the game there and there itself, and not putting some financial penalty later on. All that is having no
So
impact.
are you forced to bring a fielder in? Is that what
Yeah,
the rule
you're
is?
forced to. Yeah, you're forced to bring a fielder in per over late. Or
Don't
the
ever
time.
listen,
Yeah.
okay?
Why not bring in the whole field? That'll be a big penalty. All right. So
Naresh.
good. Now,
Yes, Alan.
and Naresh will be getting his cap too. I've been.
Norman. I took
So
my
Baram
cap.
Arani just said, "Please talk fast
No,
before
hey,
Alan
look,
was back. Otherwise, won't finish."
Naresh,
Okay. Now,
can I please butt in
now,
for 1 second?
Alan, just let's flow with the conversation, please. Alan, sir, Mr. Sunil Gavaskar said that England requires a superhuman effort to beat India, which is, for me, near to impossible for England. What are your thoughts about it? Please answer.
I think if you get Kohli out, we win.
I think it's
No,
more
but
than Kohli. I think
yeah, Alan, he's not scoring much as it is. Kohli is struggling himself.
The two best teams in the world is India and Australia.
I mean, look, in a general sense, getting Kohli out is a relevant
I need
point.
to get this off
It
my
is
chest,
relevant.
Norman. Naresh, I need to get this off my chest, okay?
Alan,
No plain words, nothing.
What's that? Punjabi lemon. Okay.
I had that for tea and it blew my head off.
Yeah?
Okay,
Is
I'll be
it?
back in a second.
Yeah, but on that point, Norman, he did mention those words, Sunil Gavaskar, that because of the issues they're having with now even Mark Wood injured, they're not getting a very stable opening pair. And he did point out technically the issues which Burns and Sibley especially are having. And he doesn't feel Besto and Butler can go on to save a test match. So that's the reason he feels that there's lots England needs to do in this series. Otherwise, India is taking it. So those were the part of the comment. Even after as soon as the second test ended, he did mention that this was an opportunity for Besto and Butler to save the test for England to prove how good they could be test batsmen. They've done very well in white ball, but that didn't happen. So that is where he feels the batting lineup is struggling.
Yeah, look, it's all to do with continuity in the batting lineup as well. The batting lineup has not been stable. They've now swapped a first dropper into open. They've gotten rid of their number 2 and 3 batsmen in the order. Massive chunks out of your batting order. They've gotten rid of Lawrence, who was in there for one test match and completely taken out. I'm happy that Bairstow's in. I think they've found the right player there. Dawood Milan, I believe, will be the solution. I think he'll play well. Crawley's not out of it yet. You could have Crawley come back in the future, but I think the important thing is that Sibley has gone. Hamid's going to take a little while to get going again, I would say. So it's going to be interesting to set up this there. As far as the England bowling lineup, that's probably where we're talking a lot about the batting lineup, but not about the bowling lineup. I mean, if you lose, as I said, Broad, Ben Stokes, Chris Wokes, Archer, and who was the fifth person? Wood. In bowling lineup, you've only got really only Anderson left. The rest of the bowlers are new to the squad. Ollie Roberts is still very new. Overton certainly would be. Sankaran still is. And Sakha Mahmood is very new. So Aparna Saini, how are you?
Hello, good evening, Aparna.
Aparna, the brains of the outfit.
You look very refreshed, Aparna. We can't hear you.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
everyone, Aparna is an IT expert.
By
I'm not
the
sure
way,
about that.
Naresh, you're in India, yeah, Naresh?
Yes.
Whereabouts?
I think, Norman, if you're gonna send me red tube links, what can I do in that? No IT person can help with that. But anyway, I'm still here.
Okay, all right. Well, you're here well and truly. We can hear you now. All right, so everyone, welcome.
Well, hi, Alan. Hi, Naresh.
Hello.
Hi,
hello.
Aparna.
Hey, Norman, before you butt in, I want to say something. Naresh, Aparna,
Yes, Alan.
Norman. Now, Naresh, you have to realize, I'm sure you do, I come from 3 different backgrounds: Irish, English, and Australian. So the other day when Norman got carried away, when I used the F word, right? It's called fecking.
Alan,
F-E.
okay, Alan, I'm not going to,
No,
Alan,
it's not
right
a
now.
swear
You
word.
continue that, Alan, we're going to stop you. I'm going to tell you now. I don't want to talk about that topic at all. You're off it. Not if you say another word about it,
Norman.
I'm going to have to end it. Alan, no, Alan, I've told you that's enough.
That's it.
Was it unnecessary to talk about? My earphones got a shock Aparna when you put your leg with a bit of a startling sound. All right.
I was actually asked today, by the way, Norman, by a
Okay,
friend on
Alan, we'll
Facebook.
talk about the topics.
Hang
The
on,
topics are
no,
going to be the England-India
I was
test
actually
match,
asked on
and that's it.
Facebook.
That's it, Alan. Alan, that's it.
I'm not
Okay?
talking about that. I'm talking about a question from a friend from England on Facebook. Actually, no, it's from Cairns in Queensland. And he said, Alan, who's the hardest bowler you ever bowled to? And we're talking about Viv Richards, Tendulkar, Dravid, and I'm thinking, who was the hardest bowler I ever bowled to? Now, what do you reckon, Pani? Naresh?
I think you were good, so you be able to tell who was the hardest.
The hardest bowler batsman would be Sachin.
Sachin.
Yeah, 90s was about Sachin, Inzamamul Haq, and in the 90s they did well,
Oh, he saw the ball so early into Mamal Haq.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. One of the best batters. I really like him. So there's a question about will Anderson play all 5 games? Well, he's certainly going to have to play. He's played 2. He's going to have to play the next game. And if they don't get Broad or Wood in for the rest of the series, he'll have to continue. If Sakim Mahmood has a great match, that may add some relief for him. But I think we're going to see Anderson play the whole 5 tests because he's not playing IPL. He's not playing the World Cup. So he'll have time to recover from those 2, or at least some time, not a great deal of time, about 2 months before he hits the Ashes. So, and unless Broad comes back for the Ashes and Wood, which I'm finding, I really think those 2 are very unlikely to come back for the Ashes. I really do. Arks has already gone. Wokes is in doubt. My God, England are really going to have to start to groom Ollie Robinson, Ollie Stone. I think he's not well either. And obviously Overton, and then possibly Sakim Mahmood as well. So England will prepare the so-called Headingley pitch for a bowlers. It'll be a bowler's wicket. The conditions
it's going to be it's going to assist the seam. I think it's a small ground from capacity. I think just 18,000 people. So there is breeze also helping the bowlers in these conditions at Headingley. But what the weather has been, I think there was some rain only yesterday. It's been fine today and expected to be a good week. But yeah, they normally have more grass on this pitch. Alan would be able to help on how Headingley pitch is.
Oh Lord, I won't tell stories about Darren Gough at Headingley, my last Test match. If it's hard and it's firm and they leave grass on there, good luck.
Yeah,
I can tell stories about when I played there with Darren Gough, but I won't. Naresh and Aparna and Norman, no. That's for me and Norman to tell stories when we do our little tour. All I would say is this. Bring your chewing gum.
Okay, so it's going to be a pitch which is going to suit the bowlers for sure. And
Well,
Well, the
considering,
best pace, and you know what, Norman, I love bowling from the top end, not the pavilion end. It's sort of like lumpy and bumpy, and it's a nightmare.
okay, so Baramarani's asking, is Michael and Darren Goff related? I don't think so.
No.
I should be.
You know
Shuttle
what?
should be in any match. He should be. How about Liam Livingston in the two tests? I think that's a very relevant point. Liam Livingston should actually also be considered for Test cricket. To me, in my opinion, that's a good. Should India bring Ashwin?
Michael Goff, Norman? Go back to that question of Michael Goff.
What
I
about?
think he played for. I think he's from Durham, and he played up there. Yep, bring it back.
It's already brought back. It's on screen.
The umpire, yeah. I think he played for Durham, right-hand batsman. His dad's very wealthy, and flew him in by helicopter to play for Durham. He couldn't quite make it, so he became an umpire. I think that's the right person.
Okay, well, they're not related though. That was the question.
And no one's related to Darren Goff.
Okay, so was the 120-21, which was actually the 2020 version of it because they didn't have one last year, successful. It was as successful as any T20 tournament would be. That's my opinion. There's been talk about Pujara's batting, guys. A part of Pujara's been talked about his way he holds his bat is actually affecting his batting. What do you think, Naresh?
There has been a lot of talk, as you said, about Pujara not scoring. But if you see, he has changed nothing. He is playing the way he is playing. What has impacted his, a fall in the strike rate, as people say that, is because of the Indian openers not doing enough. He's coming in early to bat as number 3. We saw that happening in Australia until Gill and Rohit Sharma stabilized a bit. We saw that in India against England. What inning we saw on the day 4 of this test match suited Pujara the best, and he played his natural game the best. So I think he should be left with his technique and the way his approach is, because in the end it does go on to benefit India when required. If those 3 hours Rahane and Pujara had not batted, we would have had a different kind of a result. I feel the foundation of this win the credit has to be given to Pujara and Rahane. So he undoubtedly he's not scoring big, what we have seen in the past, but I think a big score is round the corner.
I think so too.
Yeah, I would agree.
Aparna, what have you been doing the last few days? Have you been catching up on the 100, or what have you been up to?
What I've been up to? Well, I've been watching your show, Norman.
What? Watching my show?
I've been watching your shows. Yeah, I'm a huge fan. So I just do is follow your shows, because now I am obviously member of Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kortenak.
Your video on Steve Waugh got 7,000 or 8,000 views. It was very, very good.
Thank you.
Very
But he actually Steve Waugh is sending hand packed with this, if you want to have a message on it. So all the viewers who is watching right now, they can order for Father's Day is coming, and he will write a message and hand sign it. I mean, there can't be any better gift than that from a legend, whoever loves cricket.
Right there.
Yeah, that's it. It's just there.
Could be a Father's Day present.
I know a certain person who knows Steve Waugh.
That's you.
Oh, look, I know loads of people.
That's us all.
Norman has got Steve Waugh's mobile, but he's too shy to phone him.
No, that's not true.
By the way, Norman, I told you millions of times. It's coming. Are you growing your beard to be like Santa Claus? Norman,
I didn't understand that. What was that?
are you growing your beard to look like Santa Claus?
No, I'm just because I'm growing. Because one, I bought a palm. I bought a new shaver,
And the rest stop
which was
laughing.
actually being
I
showed,
told you many times,
which was being
have a
sold
shave,
on
man.
Facebook. I bought it for $100 bucks. I bought it home. It doesn't work. It just gets hot. So I'm annoyed.
Just get a blade and have a shave. It's quite simple.
Ray, I tell you what, I'm going to say, Ray, PMB9, take my question, Norman. I will not take a question if you keep saying that.
Okay,
I'll tell you
Ray,
that.
PMB, what is your question, man?
He wants to know technique doesn't help him to score runs as his neutral position is to defend. His hands are very low and his front foot stride is minimal and heads falls over towards the fourth stump. The man has got 6,000 test runs. Okay, Pajara's got 6,000 test runs. He's scored huge runs. His technique's not under question, in my opinion.
I've got one simple
I don't think it's question. Naresh, just your point. Pajara's technique's not under question. The man scored 6,000 test runs. He's simply out of form.
I think the point that was made in that comment was more to do when the ball is on his leg, and that is why most of the captains have realized to get 2 or 3 leg side fielders, because he is kind of bending a bit more and like looks as if he's going to fall over the ball and not balanced. That is a little bit of, that's the only minor thing of the technique which I would say. Otherwise, I don't see any issue the way he's been batting, and that's the way he is batting. We need that kind of a number 3. And we'll just leave it to that. Yeah. But yeah, there has been opportunities where he's bat and pad has happened. There are fielders around for that, because that is what the bowlers have observed, that he kind of loses his balance.
Yeah, the reality is that the Indian batting lineup's not going anywhere. Rahul,
Norman, can I
Pujara,
bowler?
Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, Punt, Jadeja is not moving anywhere. The only changes will be to the bowling lineup based on perhaps injury. Shardul Thakur may come in for Ishant Sharma, but otherwise Bumrah, if fit, Siraj if fit, and Sharma if fit will stay. Perhaps for the Oval Test, we'll see Ashwin come in. There was a comment earlier I saw that said there's talk about Ashwin coming in for Jadeja. I doubt it. India are not going to change a winning team. Unless it's interesting.
I don't think so. More likely, we would see the same playing 11 that we've seen, because even he said he wants to keep the template. And now that India has won the last one, there is no point of changing the team. Though if it's a huge demand from the pitch and its conditions, maybe, but more likely not.
Yeah.
My only point, Norman, Aparna, to add to you, the only point I see is it time to get in Ashwin now for Jadeja? Because India needs some alternate option to get Joe Root out early. Is that the option? Purely because the tail has started giving you runs. The top order has started giving you runs, especially the openers. Probably because of that, Ashwin didn't play and Jadeja was ahead of him. But after these 2 tests, does Virat Kohli have that confidence to play in Ashwin for Jadeja and check Joe Root? Because Joe Root is doing very well outside the off stump. Can Ashwin check that? That's the only option I see with one change.
And Music Harmony's come on and he said a very good comment. When you get runs with a certain technique, it doesn't get questioned. It's true. I mean, look, if you would look at technique, Steve Smith's technique is all over the place. Even when Philip Hughes was alive, his technique was all over the place. The reality is they all got runs. And that's what look at the batting stance of Chanderpaul. Who would ever question whoever the
Yes.
No,
and he scored over 10,000.
Let's go even further back to an umpire called Peter Willey. Remember him?
What about Peter Willey?
His batting style.
As a batter.
Yeah. Do you remember Peter Willey?
Yeah, I do. There was plenty of Willies. There was also a David Willey.
Peter Willey, who was also then an international umpire. He played for Leicester. He's my teammate.
I remember.
But
in general, batting styles and batting techniques don't be questioned. It's all about where the bat is. It's all about where the bat is and their head position when the ball comes to the bat. That's the key. If your head and your feet, for that matter, as well, are in the right position, it won't matter.
Now, I remember a good, very, Norman, now listen carefully, and you guys, very, very good friend of mine. The first person to hit him in the head was at North Sydney Oval in a test match before the first Youth World Cup. Guess who hit this fellow in the head? Left-hand batsman, Brian Lara. I sconed him, right? And we became mates. He sat next to me. He goes, "You're Naresh." He goes, "Hi, my name is Brian, and you were the first guy to ever hit me in the head." Now he was facing Ian Bishop, Malcolm Marshall, the lot. His backlift was crazy.
There is a good question here about.
You're right. I think Brian did okay with his backlift.
Yeah, we can't knock Brian Lara, for God's sake.
Like you're not meant to bowl like Wes Macron, where you just do this. Well, you do, because he's one of the greatest. Malcolm Marshall.
Okay, let's go back a second. Let's go back a second.
So techniques and stuff out the window.
Okay. So there was a question about the injury to Wood may be a blessing in disguise for Sakib Mahmood. Naresh, would you agree? Napana?
Yeah, I think I would agree.
Yeah, because
yeah, I mean, I think England has to. There has been a lot of changes. Obviously, they need those. I mean, there has to be some sort of magic. But I think, coming back to the normal question which you asked earlier, Norman. I think England, has not really taken themselves out of the equation just yet. And even though, apart from Root, none of their batters is performing well at the moment. But India has not won more than one test match in last 3 series, right? So could be that they would like to have Ashwin in this test because, that would be a massive thing for them if they can turn this one into a win. So if Ashwin has been gone to England and they don't use him now, I don't think so. That's what they planned. So I would agree with Naresh. Coming back to the point, I don't know much about Mahmood Azazian, new debutant. I think Naresh would be able to answer.
Yeah.
Do you?
Norman, what little bit I saw about Mahmood was in the white ball series, England versus Pakistan. He did very well. Even at Lords, he did very well.
Yeah.
The issue England currently has is they have Anderson and Robinson to open. With Broad ruled out, they are struggling with the third and the fourth bowler. With Mark Wood out, even Sam Curran is struggling with the ball. Who is going to be the bowler who they feel confident can do well at number 3? Is it Overton? Is it Mahmood? Or Oli Stone? Oli Stone did well in India against India.
He did very well.
Yeah. So they need to look at who is going to be their effective third bowler, because I don't think Sam Curran will be dropped. He'll still continue.
So is Ollie Stone in the squad? He's not, is he? I don't think he is.
No,
I don't think he is. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but Ollie Stone's not there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Norman, can I please ask Apana and the gang a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Who's going to bowl Australia out?
On the Indian side.
In Australia.
I had this great chat with my mum, who's 83 this year, right? Knows her stuff. Who is going to bowl Australia out?
Mohammad Siraj?
Chris Broad? No. Anderson?
In the Ashes.
No.
Okay.
That bloke, what's he called? The dark fellow with his dodgy elbow? No. We have no bowlers. We have one player. Norman, who's that one
James
player?
Anderson. James Anderson.
No. Joe Root. And we have.
Then he
Ben
might be
Stokes.
taking another break, like Ben Stokes. You
Ben
never
Stokes.
know.
God
That's
willing.
far off.
I'm talking about the Ashes,
You're
right?
talking.
God willing. Now, I know it's like to lose a dad. It hits you hard, right? So we got Joe Root. Australia's got Steve Smith, Cummins, Anderson, and the bull bloke. What's he called? The spinner?
What, of England? Jack Leach?
No. The Australian spinner, the bald head.
Nathan Lyon, you're talking
Nathan
about.
Lyon, yeah. I'm sorry, I thought
And
Nathan
we
Lyon.
just got one player. So my money is on Australia to win at the Gabba. The Wacker, Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth. Sorry, and I reckon it's going to be 4-1.
To Australia. Well,
And you disagree with me, Norman, for a long, long time. We've got nobody to bowl Australia. Can you really? I toured here. I had a great chat with Mum this morning, right? My mum, who knows the cricket, right? Norman.
Yeah.
Perth, 40 degrees. You're 40 years of age. Your name's Jimmy Anderson. The ball's not swinging. The ball's not doing anything. Good luck. Chris Broad, same thing. Adelaide, same thing. Queensland, same thing. I put my money on at least 3-0 Australia. And I hate to say that because I'm English.
We're going to talk about the Ashes a lot later, though. Let's not talk about too much about the Ashes because really, we're yet to see India's England squad.
Normally, I'm just throwing that out there now. Just chucking it out there. Then see what people think.
I think if Australia have some issues with their bowling attack, as in some injuries to Stark or Hazelwood, they got no depth. They'll be in a lot of trouble as well.
That's the conundrum. Fitness. Stark's always injured. They're always injured. What's wrong with these people? They're always injured, right?
Okay, let's move on. Music Harmony just asked the question. 2 changes the next test guaranteed. Shardul's coming in for Ishant and Ashwin for Deja. This is 100% confirmed. Ashwin has uploaded an IG story exploring the routes. So are you saying that Ashwin is definitely in for Jadeja, Music Harmony? On what basis? What's on Instagram? You can't judge a selection whether he's on Instagram or not saying that. Where is it being? No, but hang on. Music Harmony, you're saying that Ashwin uploaded an Instagram story explaining the routes, exploring the routes. So Ashwin is not about to tell his viewers he's in the side before he's selected. I'm sure of that. So I find that highly unlikely. The way that Kohli has spoken about the template,
no,
it didn't include.
Sorry, Norman. I think Sports Stuff he has posted something about that as well. So
Have they?
Yeah, Sports Stuff. I have seen they post on social media as well that Ashwin has given his statement on what actually happened because he did witness there was no cameras or no recordings. So he's just made his statement public. That's about it.
So repeat that. You're saying that Ashwin is in the side.
No, not that bad. Not that bad.
Okay. No, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Ashwin won't be going on any form of.
Yeah.
Just because he's given statement doesn't mean he didn't say that he going to be in the side. No. That's just adding another piece of information on.
Yeah, I thought so. Why would they drop Jadeja? I don't think Jadeja, he got 50 odd, didn't he, in an important performance in the first innings, didn't he? Oh, well,
he got a 50 in the first test. He got a 40 in this second test, first inning.
Yep.
But as I said, Norman, I only feel they want to get in a variation for Joe Root. That could be the only option, considering that there is confidence at the top with the bat and there is a tail helping also. And Shardul coming in for Ishant is again to kind of get more batting options. But it's not going to be fair for Ishant. He was a huge contributor to the win in the last test. So we'll have to wait and see. But that the only possibility is Ashwin for Jadeja. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the situation with Ishant Sharma is very clear to me. He was a dead set certainty, I think. Shardul Thakur was injured in the second match, so he was out. So Ishant Sharma came in for him, yes. But it was also a twofold situation because Ishant Sharma has proven very successful at Lords with a 7-fer,
Yeah.
and that's his preferred ground. So it was a great selection. Shardul Thakur in the first match played pretty well, but not that well. But he's due to come back in. He is a good foil. But yeah, look, I part of I just spoke about that earlier. I'm loath to make any changes to this side unless it's due to injury. I'm loath to make any changes for this third test. I would keep the side the same. I still maintain that.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that Kohli has said after the first test match he has the template to win is a very significant statement.
But
And
Norman, the
against-
template is about 4 seamers and the 5th bowler as an option in the spin who can bat. That's the template. Now, who fits in that basis conditions? I think we'll know only in the morning of the test. Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, Ashwin's a certainty for the 4th test at Lords. Absolutely.
Oval, yeah. Oval, he'll get turned.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I meant Oval. Sorry, 4th test at the Oval is a certainty. Absolutely. My apologies. I didn't mean Oval. Jadeja's in dropped to be benched. So they want to play Jadeja, have to play him as a proper batter in place of Joe Rahane. It's interesting. I think that if they don't have Rahane, if they don't have Jadeja on the side, regardless of Ashwin, I think they're going to realise how much they miss him. I really do.
I think there has been a trend in Indian cricket for a while now. I mean, whenever the team doesn't do well or do well, doesn't matter. Pujara suddenly becomes the villain, of the piece because of his slow strike rate. I mean, he's got the capabilities. If he needs time and the management as well, showing some sort of faith in him. So we should not just, talk on that level and, you should support and back him up. He's got definitely capabilities. There's just a trend. I mean, people have been following it as a trend.
Okay, this is okay. So we've got Ashish Giri saying we want when is next time Kohli hit a century? Hopefully soon. Ishan should be the team.
He will win the toss.
How to get wickets when no one else again. Now, Tim Wilson Davies. Welcome, Tim. I haven't seen you before. Only way to get Joe Root out is with Axel Patel playing. Interesting comment. Welcome, Tim. Tim, where are you based? Are you based in England? Tell us. How to ask Shuttle to bowl 132 and not just bowl out swingers and develop in swingers. Okay. I think Shuttle can both bowl out swingers and in swingers. I don't think there's any issue there.
I think that comment on Akshar Patel was lots to do with how the batsmen were facing him in India. He's skidding through straight on the middle, off and middle, and they found it difficult. Whether he will get that kind of assistance with these pitches is a little difficult to say. That's why I feel Ashwin would be a better bet because he will be bowling closer to the off and middle. Jadeja was moving it away and enough time for Root to play outside off towards point and backward point. That was getting a bit too predictable.
Yeah, it's a hard one with the whole Ashwin situation. He shouldn't take it as if it's a personal slight that he's bowling. He's still the best spinner they've got.
Yeah.
What do I got here? We got a comment here. For AMP, I am not making any statement to make. I just posted regarding what changes I've been hearing. Template remains the same. Ash in for Jodie Shuttle and for Ishan. I mean, that may well happen. I'm not saying it won't happen, but I don't think it's likely that Ashwin's going to be in this match. But that's just my thoughts. By the way, Ishan played the second test only because Shuttle was injured. So it is rightful the Shuttle does get back in. I agree with that. Yeah, so Tim Wilton Davies is from England. That's good. Kambajara with Kohli. With Rohit. I don't think he's going to need to because you've got why would you change that order? Rohit and both Rohit Sharma and Rahul have proven brilliant. Aparna,
Yes.
I want your thoughts on how India have played this series in general. What's your thoughts on the way they've played this series?
I think they've really come good in terms of who saw India was actually last test as well. First one was nice, but the whole series has been right now is in India's control because of England position, how they're struggling with the batting department. I hope that they would be able to come up with some sort of selection to balance their middle order. That's very important. I think India should follow the template, because if it's working, as Virat Kohli said, he should. But what a match! I mean, obviously England was good too, but second innings, India, Shami, if didn't stop at the crease, I mean, there shouldn't be a tail enders word. We should find a better word for tail enders, because they have actually made a huge contribution towards the last match. So, Pujara topic comes in because of that. I mean, as much as it's important in a test cricket, but again, Pujara should be, given that time that he needs to be able to come back for this third test. I mean, what can India do to get Roots out? He's in perfect balance. He's probably the only person who's actually batting for the whole team. So
I would agree with that.
So I think Bumrah is the highest wicket taker for this series so far. I think it's 12 wickets. All hopes from
Oh,
him.
it took 9 in one match. We forget his first test performance. It went unrewarded. There was no results. What a pity. Getting 9, and then Siraj got 8 in this test. They both stood up amazingly well. Okay, Seeker Onlooker says if Shami moves his length 1 metre forward, he will get those edges. Correct. He was bowling a bit too short. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Cambridge Open we've already talked about that. This is an interesting question about Kohli's position in the batting order. Should he bat 3 or 4? If they lose an early wicket, you wouldn't want Kohli in second balls. That's probably why he's not number 3. I'd say that's the main reason. How many tests, Naresh, did Kohli play at number 3? Do you know? He played a few.
I doubt. I'm not sure whether he did actually, or maybe just a couple of them. So he's always batted at 4 in Test cricket. So.
Or since Pujara's been there, yes.
Yeah, but this is a very interesting one. Shouldn't Joe Root come in at 3? Because they are struggling with the top 3, Even that option is there. But now they will have to see whether they get in David Malan at 3. He's a left-hander. So
yeah, I think they've made the decision to leave Root at 4. I think Root would. Why would he want to move? He scored massive runs at 4. There'd be no reason to move him. And he's come in and hat tricks all the time, hasn't
he? Yeah.
I think Alan's gone. He was there on it for a minute. Now he's gone. All right, now let's go. Let's talk about some more factors. So Music Harmony is saying that Jadeja, irrespective of who comes in, should stay as his side, but even pushing for 5 has a solid technique. But now if you're going to play, they're not going to play both. It looks like that's the decision they've made for England. I think that's purely because of the World Test Championship. They've been hurt so badly by having them both in there. They've made a very conscious decision not to have Ashwin and Jadeja both in that side. I think that's pretty much the case. Would you agree?
Yep.
Aparna, what are you doing?
I'm looking at the comments. It's very hard to see on the screen. I can't see on the screen.
Can't you get the comments to the side?
No, because my phone screen, I can't see it. Very small to read.
Have we fixed that phone? We haven't fixed that phone, have we?
No.
Well,
Well, we are in lockdown for another month.
well, I told you about 50 times what we can do for that. We're going to do it.
Yeah,
What
well,
about
then we'll
Siraj's
talk after
wobble
the
thing?
show.
He has got a good wobble thing. Now we're going to realise where our faces are on the screen. Apparently, you're a bit too far left. Go right. That's it.
That's
it.
better?
A bit more right.
That's better?
That's better. That's perfect. All right. Nice specs, Apana. Oh, love. That must be love.
Indian Cricket Lovers BCCI fan club, yeah.
Oh my God, I've got a BCCI comment. I think my purpose of being in this industry has been solved. I think there's another new subscriber. Thank you, BCCI.
What was that? Indian
Someone-
Cricket Lovers BCCI. I think he is a new one. Why Indian cricketers don't play county cricket in England apart from Ashwin?
Well,
That's a great question. They should be doing that more and more and more. They really should. Now you're talking Indian, but who do you want to win the upcoming Ashes series? Here we go.
obviously Australia.
Oh, why is it obvious?
Why it's obvious. If any other team that I would be supporting in cricket after India would be Australia, because come
Okay,
on, Aussies aren't that bad. I mean, I'm
No, I
based in
guess
Sydney, Australia, so have to give a little bit of my love back to the country that I'm residing at the moment, and
most
some
Indians
great
actually do
cricketers has
support
come from my
Australia.
soul.
Yeah.
I think most Indians do support Australia over England. I would agree with that. Naresh, who do you like more, Australia or England? If you had to pick your favourite team, not the best team, but your team that you would want to support, who would it be?
It's a tough one, between Australia and England. Very tough. Yeah, I'll support Australia. If I have to have an option between England and Australia, I'll support Australia.
But I was thinking
Now we should
England were
ask,
going to do it.
who do you think will win?
Okay.
So we can all say England. I mean, Australian team doesn't look very.
Australia should win to bring an end to this rotation policy issue that is going on. In the end, you are playing top level international cricket. You play your best team. No.
They might think that all of the players are exceptionally good. I mean, if India would be doing that sort of policy, it makes more sense because we do have a lot of talent. I mean, in a country with 1.3 billion population, there has been a lot of people still waiting to for a break. So if India with that much population, with that much talent do it, I think that's a different story. But England doing it just doesn't make sense to me. Where have they come across this idea? I mean, who invented or suggested?
No, you're playing a big 5-test series against India, followed by another 5-test against Australia, probably the toughest series in the championship cycle. And you have so many issues with the selections and players' availability, fitness, and then you're not looking beyond the Ashes, going ahead for the rest of the World Test Championship. So that's a bit of the reason I feel that this needs to be put to rest, and the best way is that Australia wins the Ashes.
Look, I'm only reserved about Australia because, I mean, Smith, Labuschagne, and Warner are certainly players that play well in Australia. Okay. Pekowski hasn't had an opportunity yet, and there's going to be some new players come in probably. I would like to see Usman Khawaja come back and Curtis Patterson, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
But that's pretty okay. But the bowling lineup, if Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood, and Lyon are the four bowlers, with, say, Cameron Green as one of the all-rounders, they have to look at the fact that beyond those players, if they have one or two injuries, say in the World Cup, or they're going to be without them, they haven't got the depth. Whereas England have got a lot of depth. Even though they've lost 5 players, Stokes, Wokes, even Ben Folkes, who's not a bowler, Broad, Archer, and Wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's huge. But they still have Anderson, Robinson, Stone, Overton, Curran. They have got a fair few bowlers and Sakib Mahmood. They've got a few still to pick from. Which, if that happened to Australia, if Australia lost 5 of their bowlers, let's go through them: Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood, and let's say Lyon. They got nobody.
Well,
they really haven't.
I saw a very interesting comment. If India can beat Australia in Australia, why can't England? Well, how would Norman? You would like to answer that question?
I actually think India can. I think that England, if they can get their batting sorted, which they're having problems with at the moment, they can still do very well. But the key is Ben Stokes. Without him, they're going to be in trouble. But there's every chance that Ben Stokes will be back at some stage for the Ashes. Sure, Broad will be probably there for the Ashes as well. And Wood, well, let's see, he may well be as well. So they will have a lot of their bowlers back. But Ben Stokes is absolutely crucial for that England side. And then they can afford to not worry about Dan Lawrence or those players and let Besso Butler play. And then hopefully David Milan and Crawley also do very well as well. Oh, God. You guys talk for a second.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a long way away. I think England has to do something in the remaining 3 of the tests left. They need to get their batting in place. Yeah.
So why do you think that Ashwin should be brought into play for this 3rd test? What
Well,
are
he'll be
the
he's definitely a more effective spinner, and that's his predominant quality or a skill, that is, as a bowler. He can bat also, but Jadeja was preferred purely because he bats better and he's a left-hand option. But that's what I feel. We went in with that purely because just 2 days before the first test started, Mayank Agarwal was injured. So we were going in with KL Rahul for the second chance to give him for the opening slot. So maybe that was the thought. Let's bat deep. Yeah, let's bat deep with Jadeja and Shardul Thakur. Now, after 2 tests, with the tail also giving runs, the openers giving runs, little bit you can see Pujara and Rahane coming to form. Can they now look at Ashwin back? Because in both these tests, it's been Joe Root and no one else. So can someone who can, take Joe Root's wicket, and could be Ashwin, if not the seamers. Though Bumrah did very well in the last day, I think that wicket of Joe Root immediately after tea was more tilting towards India
significant?
But that's the reason I feel there's more confidence in the batting in these conditions currently, and that could be the only reason if Ashwin comes back for Jadeja.
Okay, I just want to answer the Seeker onlooker says Aussies have backup bowlers and Meredith, Richardson and Ty. Quite frankly, Meredith is a short form of the game bowler. Ty is short form. Richardson is the only one that may be considered for the longer form. But the rest are short form bowlers. They're not going to be playing Test cricket, I'll tell you now. Michael Nessa will come in first, or James Pattinson. They're the 2 that are in, but they haven't got much depth.
Yeah.
Pema Galston is also saying hi. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
This is a great. This is another question. I put videos together on Justin Langer. Now, Justin Langer's on the nose. He's got issues with the side. They've had several meetings with him, and people are talking frankly. He's very strong.
Yeah.
Will he be? He's at this point in time. Nick Hockley, the CEO of Cricket Australia, has said that his contract ends next May. He'll be there until then, right? So it's too late to bring him out of the World Cup. He's going to the World Cup. Ashes, well, he and Tim Payne will be there. But post that, Langer will go by May. He won't come back. He's not going to coach any longer, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But then it will depend who they bring in. And Tim Payne probably won't captain be on that point as well. There's going to be a very fresh team in the Australian lineup middle of next year onwards, I'm pretty sure. We'll see maybe Jason Sanger or Curtis Patterson come in as captain. Hopefully Usman Khawaja. And the coach will be someone like Jason Gillespie or Andrew McDonald or even Trevor Bayliss. That's my thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, and I think Usman Khwaja should have played even against India. I really don't know the reason why he wasn't part of the squad.
Yeah. Such a blow. Ben Stokes, oh my God, what a blow. What difference would Ben Stokes have made in this test series so far, Naresh? Apart.
He would have definitely been the number 5. So probably Butler and Besto would have not played together. It would have been one of the two. So yeah, but they're really missing him at this point of time because he gives a very good balance as an all-rounder with bat and ball. With Sam Curran is struggling, and Moeen Ali has just come back in this second test. So I think Moeen Ali will now stay on for the rest of the series. So we'll have
Yeah,
to
he
wait
looked.
and watch.
Moeen Ali, I like Moeen Ali a lot. He's a damn good player. Moonhouse is Ponty for Australian head coach. No, I don't think so. Not that he's not good enough. He's very good at the short form as coach, but I think he's not quite ready for Test cricket coaching. He hasn't coached a lot in that manner in Test cricket. He may not come in. I think Jason Gillespie is the one.
Norman, I'll have to take a leave. Yeah.
You got to go?
Yeah.
Right, see you the next few days, right?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
Right.
Thanks for having
Thanks
me.
for joining us. Thanks everyone for Naresh joining us. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We've lost a partner. We've lost a partner. Let's not say our partners. Just gonna see what a partner is. All right. Yeah, look, Ricky Ponting in terms of being the head coach. I'm not saying he's not good enough. He certainly is good enough. He's got a lot of ability. Certainly will get a chance later on down the track. But pecking order tells me Jason Gillespie's ready to do it. I also think Trevor Bales, having coached England and Sri Lanka, deserves our national colours as a coach. Brilliant guy. Very good technician. Good disciplinarian, but he certainly is not going to. He's not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to just move aside who's there. We're going to have to get a situation going where they deal with a better format. Now, Jason Sanger I think should be captain in the future. I really do. The captain of the Australian under-19s did a great job. He should move into that slot over time. The reality is either Jason Gillespie or Andrew McDonald is also well liked. He's the assistant coach and is very well liked, and a lot of players go to him. And that's where I think the concerns are that they're not happy with Lang and they're going to Andrew McDonald even more. That tells you that there's an issue, a big issue. It's not just assumed issues. They are issues. A lot of discussion with the board, the selectors, and the players centering on Langer's coaching not being satisfactory. And they've come out and talked about it. Pathira Dashi says that Ashwin should be in a central agent. I don't know why you want to keep throwing new players in the side. The Indian team has just won fantastically, Lords. Almost won at Trent Bridge based on the same squad. Shardul Thakur was out because he was injured and Ishan Sharma came in. So that's the only change. I don't think they're going to change Jadeja and Ashwin at this point. Fourth test at the Oval, yes. EJ's, but I don't know who you are, but it's nothing to do with that at all. So I've had people on the program. My way of doing things, EJ's, but is to do what I've done. So I think I'm going to block you because I'm not impressed with that comment. I'm not really here to be knocked by people. I don't know who you are. So I just want to sign Glenn Phelps. Thank you for that. That's a good comment. Please update on Ashes. Is Ashes on? As they have your reservations. Himanshu Chadha, there's no changes at this point with the Ashes series. I'm sure the players will come to a resolution about their families. I'm sure Australia will allow them to come in. It'll depend on the conditions, of course, but I think by then we'll have our vaccinations under control. We'll be a lot more open. We'll be able to handle that situation occur. So I would not worry about that too much at all. Wouldn't worry about it. It's a good question, sort of, Panagrahi. That's the question where the Aussie not pick Chris. I think he should be picked in T20 without a doubt. I also think he's a test player as well, but he's been pigeonholed very early about his position in that situation, and I've not been happy with that for some time. Chris Lynn's a worthy player, being certainly in the short format, especially the World T20. I don't know what the story is. I think he may even be. He sometimes makes himself not available for selection and prefers to play other formats. Bravo, I don't. That's never. Why would you play an Ashes? It's an Ashes series between Australia and England. You play it in Australia or in England. It's gone over well over 100 years. Why would you play that in a neutral position? That's not what it's all about. I think that will happen only if weather permits or conditions permit, but that's not going to be the case. So. Not a concern, Bram. I don't think that's going to be the case at all. Butler has said he may not go to Ashes with a second child on the way. Interesting. He certainly is going to be out of a few matches. If Butler doesn't go, you would hope Ben Folkes is back from injury. There's still a bit of time. The Chris Wokes, Ben Folkes, obviously people like not Archer's out. So Chris Folkes, Ben Stokes, Ben Folkes, the three of them, the triumvirate, and obviously someone like Wood and Broad will be brought back into the squad. They'll be recovering from the injuries by that stage. One of the ones that we'd all like back in is Ben Stokes. Absolutely. Yeah, Meredith is somebody who's not really in favour at this point to the extent you think that he is. So I don't know what the story is there. This is a weak England side. Need to nail them. Saracen needs to be picked. Root has to be stopped from these run barrows. So the only way is through a spinner. Okay, I'm getting your point. I'm not saying Ashwin's not capable. He'll be definitely in the fourth test. I just can't confirm at the third test. That's all. Surprised to see Labuschagne not even in reserve World Cup could be because Australia already have 8 batsmen. Your thoughts? Yeah, Labuschagne really wants to play every format. He's super keen on playing cricket, and for some reason he's not getting the opportunity to do so. I don't know whether it's based on his inability. He certainly is capable, but he is more of a test player than he is a short form, and they've been pigeonholing him in that place. And there is an element of pigeonholing going on with the Australian squads. They're picking players like Chris Lynn only for short form and not for test cricket, and vice versa with Labuschagne. So that looks to be the way that they do pigeonhole their players into certain categories, and that seems to be quite common now. And the bowling lineup's the same as well. Meredith, to an extent, Richardson and Ty and the like, they don't play test cricket. What about the Amazon documentary on the money distribution about the world away from the top sides? That's a good point. It's a very good point. I find that really, really, really concerning to me. But at the same time, they are making the money, so it is a difficult one to not accept. Got your fight gaming. I subscribe. What do you think about England bouncing back? England will, if they get a settled side, they can bounce back. Yes, but it's not quite settled yet. It may take a test or two to get to that point. Avinash Vishwakaram, the lockdown situation is pretty bad in Sydney. It's reached curfew stages at night, which we haven't had, I don't think, ever. We've got 800 plus cases per day. We've got 500 in hospital. We've got numbers that we have never had before happening now. So it isn't good in Sydney, especially. Other states are okay, but they're not nearly as good as they should be. But yeah, we've got problems. And even New Zealand's not doing well, which is another concern. One who has an average of 6-3 in test can definitely play Brilliant T20. Who are you talking about, Himanshu Chowdhury? You're talking about who you mentioned before, Labuschagne. Yeah. I'm not saying he shouldn't be there, but for some reason he's been pigeonholed away from the short form. I don't know why. why don't I take viewers' comments very seriously. I'm one of the rare people that answer all the questions. So if you're not subscribed, Rush, you can have to subscribe. I don't need to see you. Okay, I'm not after subscriptions, and I answer more questions in comments than any other person ever does. And I haven't shaved yet, no. So Rustaman, I don't know who you are. In fact, I never heard. It's not very appreciative of your comments. Okay, so Labuschagne, yeah, you're right. I think he. Go back to Labuschagne video. I think he's worthy of being there, but for some reason he's not getting it. I don't necessarily see why. Yeah, I've got no doubts about that at all. I think that there's an issue around, really the point is that I don't know whether there's any need to put him at the beginning. There's nothing wrong with my bid. Thank you, Tim. Avinash Vishwakaram, who will be a man in the series in India versus England. At this point in time, you'd have to say, well, England-wise, it's certainly Root, but India, Rahul stepping up. You can either have two of the bowlers. You can have Siraj with his 8 wickets, or Bumrah with his 9. Either one, both done fantastically. Umpire Colin should be removed. The ball trading stops up. That should be hitting. Yeah, I agree. If it hits the stumps anywhere, it hits the stumps and knocks the stumps over, doesn't it? I find that real not good, but that's what they've decided. We've got to live with it. Ponting says Smith has to improve his strike rate in T20 to D-grade. Yeah, Smith's been a little bit up and down. I actually thought Steve Smith himself told that he will not be playing in the World Cup. He'll be concentrating on the Ashes. So I'm confused why he's even there if he said that now he's changed his mind. He's in the IPL, that's for sure, because of the money. He'll be there for sure. And he may be thinking now that he's going to be there, he might as well stick around. I don't quite know what's going on with Steve Smith. He's obviously desperately in need for some test practice because they haven't had any tests since the 4th test at the Gabba between India and Australia. That was the last time, January. So that's getting up to 9 months now. Well, not quite most, but 8 months. But it's going to be almost 10, 11 months before they actually play out the test match, which is normal. Do I agree, Tim, with 3 views per team being too much? I don't know. I think that the 2 now currently is working well. Yes, 3, as long as it's done ruthlessly and they say yay or nay to it rather than a middle point, it could be okay. But I think 2's fine. Yeah, I think 3's not necessary. It's not necessarily too much. It's just not necessary. Ponting is the next Indian coach now. Look, I don't know whether he'll do that. Dravid applying for the NCA. It's a sad one. The National Cricket Academy is where Dravid's gone. I'd prefer to see Ponting coach Australia in the long term, but will he coach India? I don't think India's going to be going for overseas coaches. They don't need to. They've got some great coaches there locally. Yeah, Steve Smith is in the T20 squad, but he said that he didn't want to be. Final 2 teams of the T20 World Cup for 21. Your thoughts? Avinash Vishwakaram. I would argue that India and England at my 2. West Indies is the floater, and either Pakistan or New Zealand will get the 4th spot. But I'd say England, India, and maybe West Indies destabilising that. Ganguly is also meant to have a DD grade relationship with Ponting. Yeah, I don't think Ponting's a problem at all, but I don't think he'll be coaching India. See the West Indies. Yeah, that's true. That's okay. That's okay if they're correct. That means it's good 3rd man umpire. Yeah, Martin Crowe, certainly, I'm not saying he copied Greg Chappell, but he emulated his batting from Greg Chappell and batted fantastically. Yeah. I bet you, Norman, Aussie will get at least in the semis. You can't rule them out. They have to play really well as a team, and they haven't had a chance to play well as a team. The Aussies as a team unit haven't played as a team in that squad up to the leading up to the World Cup. That's not good. You can't just be thrown together. That's my concern. They probably will, because they will be selecting a former B team, because a lot of the players won't even be back yet. Most of the World Cup players won't be back at all. They won't be back for the first match, because physically they'll go into quarantine. They'll come back from the World Cup. They probably won't be ready. Tim Wilton stays, it doesn't kill over a bit. He does. I think there are too many teams, having 10 teams in the IPL 2022. I think basically that, they've got 8 now, that's perfectly fine. But I know they're going to bring in 2 more. We have to accept that. But I don't now, it's because there's the amount of games, they're playing 60 games with 8. They're going to have to play, I don't know, a hell of a lot more, 70 or 80. Yeah, well, what about commentary then? What's wrong with commentary having a beard? I'm stuck in lockdown here. I can't go out. My shaver didn't work. The new one didn't work. Can't go to a shaving salon. So please, look, I'll get a shaving. All right. So, it mentioned 95 games, including playoffs. That will be with 10 teams. It's currently 60 with playoffs. It'll go up to 95. Wow, that's a lot. I'd love to be with MS Dhoni. I've had him with my mother, which was a great time. Now he's telling me not to shave. Oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm expecting Parner to come back at some stage. She's got a backstage thing there. We have gone for an hour and 51 minutes, guys. So don't worry. We've had plenty of good commentary for a lot of people. Even had Al Malali, we've had Naresh Manaskani, we've had a partner on. They've all played their role, which is good. When is the BBL starting? Well, that's a long way away. It usually is around December, but it may be more January this year, and February and March. I think they might be pushing it back a bit because of the amount of cricket that's been going on. They may push it back a few weeks, but late December usually. Because that December period, except for one of the testers in that period, who's my favourite BBL team? Oh, I'm a Sydney person, so I would say Sixers or Thunder for Sydney would be my favourite teams, both of them, either of them, because I live in Sydney. Yeah, it's difficult. The IPL only got split because of COVID, that's all. Should the 100 be expanded, could play in Oz. So you're saying, Tim, that we should have another full 100 in Australia? It's a bit early to say that, but it may happen. But we've got the BBL, so you're saying it should replace the BBL or should be in addition to the BBL? I'm not sure. Thank you, Amlan Bara. I like that comment. Yeah, I think that's a real problem there. I think that to me, the hole on the edge of the stump being not out should be out. Once you hit the stumps, whether it's slightly out or it would be enough to knock the bails over. It should be out. That's a hard one, but but they've decided on the way they do it, and they're consistent. Hopefully, in the way they do it, then I understand it. So that's a fair point. It's not an easy one, guys. Not an easy one at all. Yes. All right. Let's have a look here. Yeah, so the video on the training of the English side is also one that I put out, which I thought was some good shots there. We're not getting much from the Indian side at this point. So we'll look here. All right. When am I in India next time? Hopefully sometime later this year, but it's going to, with COVID, it's more likely to be next year, I'm afraid, guys. I think everyone at Hawkeye says that hits balls or stuff should be given out. Any technology error by millimeters should be given to the bowler. I kind of see a point. I do. Pitch will reverse in UAE. Stark Sharmy come into play. They may well. Himanshu showed, I think you could be right, but I think it was not what they planned because they were planning to play South Africa, weren't they? And that was not based on deliberate resting. That was based on COVID. Okay. So you look at the situation there. Put that there. All right, guys. No more questions. I'm just going to see what there's any change to the score between Pakistan and West Indies. I'm just haven't been following it, so let's have a look. Well, clearly the England-India test, we must say that, repeat that, on Wednesday, the 25th of August, will be the third test starting in Headingley and Leeds. Then very shortly after, on the September 2nd to the 6th, we'll have the game at the Oval, and then follow very quickly after that on the 10th, the 14th, they're playing at Manchester. So they're moving around a fair bit. My home location in Australia is Sydney, Australia. Coogee Beach, Sydney, Australia. Update on Chris Wokes. At the moment, Chris Wokes is still injured, and it looks like he's probably out for the series, at least this series. Hasaranga in the T20 and the IPL, yeah, he's pretty good. On the outcome of the Pakistan, let me have a look. Well, Pakistan are 9 for 302 declared. West Indies are 3 for 45. This is day 4, such much West Indies trouble. It's probably going to be a draw, but if West Indies collapse, that'll be interesting. Pakistan have finally taken some sort of lead there. Let's have a look at that scoreboard. So Farwood I've got 124. They fell away pretty quickly towards the end there. All out for 302. They lost 4 for about 70. So 309 for 302 declared, because time's running out there. And West Indies, it probably will be a draw, but you never know. There may be a chance Pakistan may win that. Do you think if Josh Beltner does not play for England to match the Olympic? He's not a bad player. Ben Fogue's come back in, they won't have a problem. My graduate student, my dream is to visit Australia. When I will be there, I will meet you. Avinash, you certainly are welcome to. Keep in contact with me. Send me your email address to my Instagram at Norm Koch. See that at Norm Koch, at Norm Koch. At Norm Koch. Send it there and I'll certainly you're more than welcome to visit me. Okay. What is your favourite team in IPL? I mentioned it earlier today. My favourite team is Kolkata Knight Riders, but I think Delhi Capitals will win. RCB and Mumbai Indians will be up there as well with CSK, but I would like to think the Delhi Capitals will win. Brett Lee's a person I can certainly look at. I was talking to Max Markson, who's a famous entrepreneurial promoter, only tonight, and he has a deal with Warren, Graham Gooch, Dennis Lilly, a few players. And I'm going to bring Max Markson on for an interview. It does look like Channel 12, but it's effective. As far as I'm aware, Pat Cummins is playing the IPL. Yeah, Ashes, Baramrani, they were 6 matches at one stage. You're right. That was some time ago. I'm pretty sure they're unending, unlimited days as well. Okay. Very good points, though. Very good questions, guys. Why Joe Root not playing IPL? He doesn't fancy himself as an IPL player, I don't think. Surprisingly, he doesn't seem as an IPL player. Norman, can you answer my question? Please predict Norman 11. The Indian 11 for the Indian side. I've already talked about this a few times, but they're not going to change anything. Rahul and Rohit. Rahul, Rohit, Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, Punt 6. I'm still thinking Jadeja's a 7, and then the 4 bowlers of either Shardul or Ishant, and then Siraj, Bumrah, and Shami. Azam's technique is pretty sound. Yeah, it was quite late. It was 6 test matches. It was right. They just played a lot of grounds too. Okay. What I think of Muhammad Siraj, I think he's fantastic. He took 8 wickets at Lords. 8 wickets. Brilliant effort. Brilliant. During lunch, his captain wants to declare where are the legs. He can say as they're walking out the door. There's no real time. He can say at any time, from the first minute to the last minute. Just means that the time will be delayed until the players change their performance. If they're about to get out to bat, and that's basically what India did, they let England go out to field. They fielded a few overs and they then immediately called them to be back in. Extremely clever. Okay, what's all that to avoid overloss? Yes, well, I don't know. I think it'll have to be 10 minutes before, because once it goes into 5 minutes or less minutes, then they've got to be given 10 minutes. So that would extend play. So I'm pretty sure it's the last 10 minutes, because that's how long you give in between innings. Generally 10 minutes to prepare. So I'm guessing by that Baramrani it would have to be 10 minutes. If it was at the last minute, then the batting side has probably the right to have another 10 minutes to get ready. I have had both my first jab and my second jab last Friday, and I was not well over the weekend because I had my second jab of Pfizer, but I'm fine now. Well, that time we lost to Ashes in 05 was certainly iconic for sure. Or Michael Clark's triple century was an amazing moment. With 3-2 combination, you mean 3 fast bowls and 2 spinners. They do that in other countries, like obviously at home and then the subcontinent. Whether their template now means 4-1, I think they're going more for 4-1. The World Cup, that's a great question, because they're very. I mean, Ishan Kashan will come into play. Potentially, Sri Sky Kumar Yadav will come in. The batting like that is. Shikhar Dhawan will be thereabouts as well. Gill, we don't know about his fitness. Rohit Sharma and Kohli, of course. Pujara Rahane not. Punt definitely. Then you probably have Jadeja definitely. Ashwin, yeah, somewhere there. And then Siraj will get a Guernsey, so will Shami, and so probably Bhuvi will come into play as well with Bumrah. But usually it's a change of innings is 10 minutes. You only go in there and get changed. A change of innings is 10 minutes. Yeah, well, Baba Azam is right up there with Kohli. Baba Azam is still a way to go before he can be in Kohli's class. Chennai Super Kings will win the IPL. Well, that's a good point. I don't agree with him. They're going to go close. Who would you think will score a century and lead from the I'm going to go KL Rahul again. It is a killer, Bram, but that's what happens. they have 10 minutes generally to change around innings. Go back in, get ready, dressed, come back out. That's why openers are openers. That's why they get paid the big bucks. I've seen the opening batsmen really need to run. They do. Thought you would say World Cup 2015. Australia won that. That was a pretty easy victory against New Zealand. It wasn't really a high point. Being at home was pretty good, yeah. Is there any extra offers in Australia, Norman? Well, I'm the extra time offers in Australia. Casper Premier League, I know very little about it at this point, so it's not something that I know a lot about, to be honest. I know that there's one bowler in there that played in Australia. He's a lovely guy. Let's look here. All right. I don't know what's happened to a partner. So we've gone 2 hours, guys. I'm not going to last much longer on this. I'm starting to feel a bit tired. But if I look at some of the, we've got some, there's something there. If you go to my channel content, am I seeing Telugu movies? No, I'm not. 2 lines on Paris, Garabunka. What is this? I don't know what you're talking about. PSL is a Pakistan Super League. But that has merit too. There's nothing wrong with Pakistan Super League, Caribbean Super League, the one in Canada. They've all got their merits. Farooq Engineer was an amazing player. One of India's best batters. He was really, really good. Really top line. He was able to ding the bell during the Lord's match. He was given a lot of attention. So Rosu Entertainment from Nepal. India can win Australia, but not my favourite team. New Zealand, when India play aggressively, New Zealand players do not react much. New Zealand play the best in tests, and Kevin was the best player other than Kohli. That's a pretty good statement. There's no doubt that Williamson played very well. Joe Root is certainly up there too. Root, Williamson, Kohli, definitely. Smithson hasn't played enough cricket lately. Commonwealth Games are not out in Kuala Lumpur. Sachin Ganguly, Ponting, Brian Lara were involved. Were they? Okay. I don't know much about that, to be honest. It'll happen again. It certainly is a great thing. Garabanka, I'm not sure what you're talking about there. It's something that I've heard the Pakistan Super League. Is that what PSL is? I don't know of any other. So don't play games. I used to love watching Hong Kong Sixers, is it? Yeah, that was Hong Kong was a great place. It has some great small fields. It's rather very, very small fields, but therefore is appropriate for 6 players. I did like that too, actually, I must say. It was more slapstick, it was more fun. Certainly was fun. Do you remember Venkatesh Prasad and Amir Sohail fight? Yeah, I did. That was quite interesting. I remember that. Why all the videos are mainly on Indian cricket than other teams? Well, I think I've given a fair share about Australia, a fair share about India, certainly about New Zealand, South Africa, some about Sri Lanka, about Nirosh Dickwella, Pakistan with the Pakistan West Indies. Of course. I don't think I'm predominantly India, but I do have an Indian audience, which I have to be fair to as well. So, yes. 96, 98. Okay. Can you give me a shout out? Sujay Ganguly. Certainly. How are you? Imran Khan. I think a lot of Imran Khan. My favourite team. It depends. I'm an Australian, so I would have to say Australia, but I like India. I like the way the West Indies play. Certainly the way New Zealand play. Yeah. I will ignore comments which are not very intelligent. Okay. Shikhar Dhawan's a player that's been talked about as well a lot on the press. He certainly isn't out of it. He could well be in the squad. Be a great person to have in the squad. Quentin de Cox here. Thank you, looking around handsome. Thank you. Which others are my favourite sports? I think I've told you around running many times. Cricket certainly is one. Rugby league is another one. I've talked to the Sassing over those to death. So, they're my favourite, rugby league and cricket. I don't mind tennis. I don't mind soccer. I don't mind basketball. Golf, I'm not a huge fan of. I'm looking like a homeless guy, am I? Yeah, a little bit. Livingston's the best six-hitter at the moment. He is the future Pollard, Gale and Russell. Certainly. I would agree with that. Yeah, Mookie, hello. Mookie, you're online. That's good to see you here. If West Indies bat out to for, then this is a draw. I'd say you're right. Jalen Manda is also a great player. A lot of time for him, to be honest. Just looking at some of these. So we look some of these. So look here. Have you watched other videos that were about the Australian selection? I think they're very interesting. A low battery balance there. Very interesting indeed. How was the lockdown in Australia? It's not good. I've talked about it already at some length, Gary Banker. In Sydney, in New South Wales, we have a lockdown which is very severe. It's almost reached curfew point at night with over 800 new cases every day, 500 in hospital, several hundred both in the ICU and on the ventilator. So it's not good. In cricket history, probably the underarm incident with Trevor Chappell. Underarm incident for sure. Yeah, Afghanistan, I feel sorry for them too. It's quite sad indeed. Yeah, she's a bit anti-gay, that's for sure. But no, I think she's still a great player, one of the best we've had. Dimpu Kanamuru, how are you? Nice to meet you there. Dimpu, if you're new, please make sure you go to my Instagram for both Instagram and Twitter, and also the Eyes on Cricket with the Norman Cossack. Please go back subscribing and notification. Please, if you're online and you haven't done that, I would appreciate it. We most appreciate it. Tomorrow we'll have the full preview. I hope to have a decent audience of people, as in decent sort of guests, and we'll be able to also deal with the match itself. Not here. He won't be able to hit, but he'll be here many other days. Don't worry. Bada bing, bada boom. I've got my vaccines for sure. My last was on Friday, my second, so a little bit iffy, but who do you want to be next to Australia, India? The Australian coach, I'm going to say Jason Gillespie. or Andrew McDonald or Trevor Bayliss. Indian coach, I'd like to see a former Indian player. I would have loved to see Rahul Dravid coach, to be honest, but he won't be. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. You ask him. Well, that's great. That'd be very interesting. All right. Just about ready to go, guys, I think. I think I need to have a rest. Now look at the situation in terms of questions. It's going well. Rahul has already extended his NCAA duration 2 more years. That's a pity for the overall cricket. Oman are playing 2 IDs with Papua New Guinea. Really? They're two, both New Guinea and Papua New Guinea and Oman are coming through as emerging nations. They are. I think will be next Indian coach. I've talked with already, Bhavesh Deshpande. I've said that I think that it'll be one of the former players. It should have been Dravid, but it may be a Luxman or a Sehwag. Good evening, Dr. A. Ramchetan Rai. How are you? That's great. It'll be a great tournament. Nepal, Oman, and Papua New Guinea. 3 emerging nations in cricket terms. Brilliant. Is the 100 a success? I don't think it's necessarily. It's been a success here. They had good numbers, everything, but I think it was more. Does it change anything from the IPL? I don't think so. So we'll run out of numbers there. For some reason, right. Okay. Not battery's running low. All right, guys. Be nice to see them qualify. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, it's 100 probably not quite at it. They haven't really got the colorations and the names of the teams right. A few things on the structures that probably still needs a bit of working on. I'm not saying it's bad by any means. Yeah. All right. All right, guys, I might finish it there. If you've got any more proper questions, the 100 was brilliant, and it can come in the level of IPL if broadcasting is done in Southeast Asian countries. Yeah, it'll take some time. It was certainly shown in Australia, but we have a BBL that hasn't done. IPL is the pinnacle by 100 miles. IPL is a big pinnacle. My favourite team in the IPL, favourite is Kolkata Knight Riders, but good night, Barami. Kolkata Knight Riders is my favourite, with Delhi Capital win this year, and I think that RCB and CSK will be in there with Delhi Capitals and Mumbai Indians. But I think Delhi Capitals will win. Mumbai Indians won't have the chance to do it back to back. Back in 2011, almost 16 18 nations played World Cup in India, like Canada and Canada. They did. See, a comment like this annoys me. This is really annoying. I'm very upset with this. Do not make these sort of comments, okay? This is insulting to me, insulting to the people on the thing. No one's judging countries here. This is a worldwide platform. I respect everyone. I was raised with Sri Lankan, Bangladesh, Pakistan, India. We're all the same. Do not say that about me. Yeah, yes, I know. Sorry, mate. You're an idiot. Whoever you are, you're an idiot. Absolute idiot. Mate, you think this is funny? If you think you can come onto a platform and be embarrassing to me, then you're not worthy of making a comment. So I'll expose you now, mate. Here you are. There's your comment. You're an idiot. I'm not accepting it. My present favourite player in the IPL would be, I really like, I mean, when Rohit Sharma's going great, Punjab Sharma for sure. Why did South Africa become so lame back in things? Yeah, it's the same with Australia. They've lost their way a bit. South Africa lost their way. It's just a cycle. I think there's a cycle of time when they play better or worse. I think that's probably what it really is. Bear with me a second, guys. I'm just going to get a charger. Hang on a second. Let me just get my little. Get some cords, guys. Sorry, I had to get a cord. Just going to try and charge up the. Hang on one second. What is the news there in Australia? Well, we've been talking a lot about our little friend there, Langer. He's been a topic of conversation. Thank you for having an amazing preview today. I love your voice. So thank you, Sharara. Why did okay? I've talked about that already. What are your best Australian cricket moment? Well, I did talk about it a bit earlier. I did talk about. The T20 World Cup, the 2015 World Cup, was pretty good. Look, Australian moments go back to the 70s era. That was my favourite. COVID's going a bit crazy. Thank you. Everything's not so okay, no. Hush, who will win in the leads? I have to say, I still think India will win, personally. I'm just waiting on my computer to get back up. Just deal with it from them. All right, guys. So everything's not okay in Australia. We've got 800 plus cases per day, 500 in hospital, a number of them in ICU and on the ventilator. It's not good. We're going through a stage because it is winter here, and winter time does tend to bring out this spike. We weren't prepared for it. Our COVID plan, as in vaccines, is zero. We didn't have a plan. It was a disaster. We reacted rather than be proactive. Yes. Why is it dropped? Why is not dropped? Well, he's dropped from the team. He's in the squad, but he's on the team. He should probably have been dropped from the squad too. I agree. Not many. Ashton Agar, is he an all-rounder? That's the question. How much members are in the family and if there are? My mother's the only one that I have that's here. My sister's another state, nephews, and my son lives elsewhere. So no, there's no one's going to disturb on. All right, so. I'm going to wait for this. All right. My favourite picture of Steve, I've got quite a few actually. I've got on my social media actually. Very, very. So look here. Virat Kohli's first coach said that there's a big 100 coming soon from Virat. I don't think that's not wrong. England can make a comment, but it's gonna take a while to make a comment properly. I think they may come back in the 4th test rather than the 3rd. I think they're going to still find it difficult with the changes they've made to their team. It won't be an easy change, I'll tell you. My question. What's your my best Australian cricket moment? I was talking about the Deadpool. The fact is, I go back to the 1970s with Thompson, Lilly, Chappells, Walker, Marsh. That was my great era. That was my favourite moment. Clark getting triple century was pretty special too. Pom talk. Well, pom is the word for another word for an Englishman. Pomegranate, which is something you eat, like an apple type. It's pomegranate kind of fruit, and it's got a red, juicy tinge to it, like a pinky red. So a lot of English, when they get red, whether it be because they're white skin, they get red due to the sun. When they come to Australia, they got red in the face either from the sun or from just getting annoyed or angry, and that was you're as white, as red as a pomegranate when they're burnt or when they're angry. So that's where the word pomegranate, which is a fruit, became the word pom. Are clear? What is a pom? A pomegranate. I mentioned that before. Pomegranate. Or win the T20 World Cup. That's a big statement. I don't think so. Not that good. I did talk about that question. I have my mother is alive. My father's passed away. My sister lives in another state. My brother passed away. So that's all. And then nephews and cousins all over the world. Watch top players or aggressive players like Coley and Surratt, or cool players like Williams and Taylor. I don't like aggressive players like Coley. That's a fair point, but then they both have their goods and the bad side, and they're both good. Why is your video lagging? Why is my video lagging? What do you mean by numbers, or what do you mean? We've had 1,000 views. It's pretty good. All right, guys, I think I'll take a break now, guys. Thanks for joining me. If you haven't already subscribed, go to the Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnick channel and subscribe. Also go about the button for notifications of future videos at Norm Koch, which is there. And Norm Koch is the Twitter and the Instagram handle, and my LinkedIn page is there as well. So please join freely when you want to. Who will win the toss in the next match? Well, Coley's lost so many, probably won't be Coley. As we know, Virat always loses the toss. I think we'll continue. It won't be a problem for him because he wins matches despite that, doesn't he? So. Yeah, it certainly is. All right, guys. All the best. Don't forget to join. Tomorrow we'll have the full preview of the test match with all the right people online. And then we'll have a look at the pre and post show as well. So all the best. Thank you, guys. Take care.